of September 2020. Can I welcome all members and officers to this annual meeting of Council, which, due to government advice to practice social distancing, this meeting will be held virtually. The meeting is being recorded and will be available via the Council's website to be viewed following the meeting. Everyone participating in the meeting will be accessing this meeting from remote locations. Please, could everybody ensure their mobile phones are switched off or to silent mode, please? Members will have received an electronic copy of the agenda. I will ask officers to present a summary of the key points. For the record, the agenda can be viewed on the Council's website. Members and officers will be speaking at various points during the meeting, and those speaking may switch their cameras on at that point. But I would ask that, with the exception of myself, at all other times you keep your cameras and microphones switched off, as this will help to minimise any background noise and interference and to ensure the connection remains as stable as possible. If any members and officers wish to raise a point or question, they should use the instant messenger icon in the bottom left of the Skype window and simply type speak, and I will come to you in the order I receive requests. Please do not use microphones until I invite you to do so. I must ask today, because of the voting and everything that will be happening, it is very important that the instant messenger is not used for writing comments unless you are specifically instructed to do so, because we obviously need to make sure that that's kept as clear as possible to allow us to keep track of the business. I'm sorry, whoever is using the instant messenger right now, because I'm reading from a script, I'm not seeing those. In the event that the Council requires to vote on any item of business before it at the meeting, I will announce that the members of Council have 20 seconds to vote by typing for, against or abstain in the instant messenger icon. I will then ask Democratic Services to announce the decision made by the committee or by Council. In the event that a recorded vote is requested at Council, I will ask members to switch on their microphones, and Democratic Services Officer will conduct a roll call of each councillor, asking whether they are for, against or abstain from the recommendation in the report before announcing the outcome of the decision. Officers from Democratic Services and ICT will be supporting the meeting and will be monitoring the use of microphones throughout the meeting, and where necessary will mute those not being used. Before we formally commence, I will now ask Officer from Democratic Services to announce the names of councillors who are not in attendance. I would also ask the officers to introduce themselves as and when I invite them to speak during the course of the meeting. They too should ensure microphones and cameras are switched off when not in use. Andrew, do we have everybody? Is everybody that isn't here today?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. For the benefit of the recording, my name is Andrew Rees, Democratic Services Manager, and I can confirm that all members of Council are present. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Andrew. Okay, we will now go through the agenda. So I'll take you first to item 1, which is the apologies of absence, and as we've already heard, there are no apologies for absence today. So item 2 is declarations of interest, and to receive declarations of personal or prejudicial interest from members, officers, in accordance with the provision of the Members' Code of Conduct adopted by Council from the 1st of September 2008. If you have any declarations of interest, then please indicate in the instant messenger and I will come to you in turn. I don't have anybody indicating, so I will move on to agenda item 3, which is my announcements. In the first instance, I would just like to point out that a statement that I made at the last meeting, which indicated that a Conservative councillor had identified an incorrect statement, I just need to point out that I was wrong to highlight that that was a Conservative councillor when it could have been any councillor within the chamber. I would just like to say that it has been an absolute pleasure to serve as the Mayor of Bridgend County Borough Council for 2019-2020, even though it's gone on for a little bit longer than I expected and others. It may not have got everything right throughout my term, but everyone makes mistakes. But at least I know I do, and I'm not afraid to admit to them and learn from them. The year has not gone as planned, and I'm sure you are all aware of with the restrictions imposed on us as part of the COVID-19 pandemic, and the reason that I have become the longest serving mayor of BCBC. I would like Oh, sorry, my computer is playing up a little. I would have liked to have done more fundraising events, but unfortunately time and pandemic have not allowed that. Back in November 2019, I organised a very successful afternoon event called Music with the Mayor at the Court Coleman Manor. At the event, guests were treated to bottomless Prosecco and canapes for the first hour and a half. Guests were also treated to a musical extravaganza of local musical artists and internationally renowned drag artist Pixie Perez. A special thank you to all artists who gave their time free of charge, and to the owners of Court Coleman Manor for allowing us to use their venue free of charge. Without the support of my very good friend Ryan Phillips, I would never have been able to pull the whole event together. He worked tirelessly for months to make sure that the event was a success. Also, a thank you to everyone that donated raffle prizes and for those councillors that attended the event. I'm sure those that were there will recognise what a fantastic event it was. As Bridgend County Borough Council's first openly gay mayor, it was important to me to choose a charity that was close to my heart. I champion equalities and diversities throughout my life, not just as a councillor. My chosen charity was Pride Cymru, and I have had great pleasure informing them that we will be transferring £4,954.54 to them to support the fantastic work that they do. Throughout my year, I've encouraged councillors to donate provisions to Bridgend Food Bank at our monthly full council meetings. I would like to thank all those that have donated in helping Bridgend Food Bank feed those in society that experience such extreme food poverty. I was particularly impressed by the imagination of some councillors that put together their reverse Advent hampers. The food bank were extremely grateful for all that we did for them. As well as attending many events, I set myself the task of improving the way that this council supported the role of mayor. During my year, I am pleased to say that we introduced a new online giving platform as part of the council's website, definitely a step in the right direction. I want to thank all the staff at Bridgend County Borough Council, in particular all of Democratic Services, for putting up with me when I ask why or why not. Most of all, my thanks to Roger for coordinating all my mayoral visits and events and driving me to make sure I got there on time. The life of a mayor can be a very demanding and lonely one, and I would not have managed had it not been for my fabulous consort councillor Nicole Burnett. I am sorry I never bought you all the shoes, dresses and handbags you thought you were entitled to. Last of all, I would just like to wish the new mayor and consort all the very best in their term, and I hope you enjoy it as much as I have. Thank you very much. Okay, we will move on to agenda item number 4, and that is to elect the mayor for the period to May 2021 in accordance with section 23(1) of the Local Government Act 1972. Let me just get to... Okay, first of all, before I move on, I've had a request from Councillor Jane Gebbie to speak, please.
Thank you, Chair. I think I'd just like to thank you for highlighting equalities to such an effect across the county borough. We've had an enormously successful year, even though it's been online during this year, particularly in relation to Pride, because we did a lot of work around it. So I'd just like to thank you personally.
Thank you, Jane. Okay, so as far as I'm aware, there is only one nomination for mayor this year, and the nomination is for Councillor Ken Watts. Do I have a mover and a seconder, please? Okay. So, yes, I've had mover and seconder. So, congratulations, Councillor Ken Watts. You are the new mayor of Bridgend County Borough Council for the period up until May 2021. All in favour? I'll take silence as an acceptance. Aye. Thank you very much.
Aye. 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 Aye.
Yes, thank you. That's all in there. Thank you very much, everybody. Oh, Jane, you've asked to speak again.
Sorry, Chair, it's too early. I've clicked return.
Okay, sorry, no worries. Okay, we now move on to agenda item number 5, and that is to announce the Mayor's Consort. Councillor Ken Watts, would you like to speak, please?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor, and thank you for everybody who has supported me in this. It's certainly something that I didn't expect. But I do wish to say in nominating my consort that I'm even more proud than I am of becoming mayor. I'm even more proud of the person that I shall be nominating to be my consort, especially when one considers the news she received earlier this year, only this time last year, and the subsequent impact this has had on her. I can only admire her strength and determination, given the circumstances surrounding her decision, confirming what a special lady she is. So it's with great pride and pleasure when I say to you all that Councillor Julia Williams has honoured me by agreeing to be my consort. So Councillor Julia Williams, please.
Thank you, Councillor Watts, and I would echo everything that you've said in relation to that, and I'm sure that you will make a fantastic sideman to Councillor Williams in her role as consort. She will be fantastic and she will be at your side, and I sincerely hope that you enjoy your term as mayor with Julia as your consort.
I know we will both give it every shot.
I know you will as well. And if there's anything that I can do to support you in that, then I will be there to help you with that as well.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, we now move on to agenda item number 6, and that is to appoint the Deputy Mayor for the period to May 2021 in accordance with Section 24 of the Local Government Act 1972. This seems a very, very interesting part, so can I just... Right, okay. So can I have nominations, please, for the role of Deputy Mayor for the period to 2021? Yes, Jane, would you like to speak?
Thank you very much, Mayor. Oh, sorry. What do I actually call you now? Are you the Mayor until the inauguration of Councillor Watts?
I am still the Mayor until the end of the meeting, yes. I'd
like to nominate Councillor John Spanswick, please, for his very, very long service to the county borough. He's actually been a councillor since 1999, so consider that my nomination, please.
Thank you, Councillor Gebbie. And do I have a seconder for that, please?
Yes, I'd like to second that, Chair.
Thank you, Councillor Paul Davis. Do I have any other nominations? Okay. Councillor Tom Gifford, please.
Thanks, Mr. Mayor. Councillor Altaf Hussain.
You're proposing Councillor Altaf Hussain for Deputy Mayor, is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Do I have a seconder for that?
Mr. Mayor, it's Councillor Tim Thomas. I'm happy to second that.
Okay, thank you very much, Tim. I've also had Councillor Ross Sturman who has seconded that. So obviously we need to move to a vote in relation to this. So can we please make sure that the instant messenger is kept clear? And I can now hand over to Kelly to run us through the process in relation to that.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. It has been agreed in group leaders meetings that if we're having a vote, we're going to do it by a register, by a roll call. So Andrew will be reading out the name of all members. We have got voting sheets. So Andrew will be reading out the names of all members, and we will be marking on there how they are voting for this vote.
Okay.
So when we get to the voting time, can you please remain on mute until Andrew calls your name, and then if Andrew calls your name, can you say whether you were voting for Councillor Spanswick, Councillor Hussain, or abstaining?
Okay, Kelly.
Mr. Mayor, sorry, it's Councillor Sedgbeer. I just wanted to say I've only got 10 minutes until my computer restarts.
Okay.
So I was wondering whether on your roll call if I could be first, so then I can have my vote recorded in case my computer restarts halfway through the vote. Is that okay? I'm sorry.
That's fine. I totally accept that. And there, like I said, there are issues and there are allowances within the Constitution to allow for voting to take part in relation to technical difficulties anyway. Kelly, just to point out as well that in the instant messenger, we have had Councillor Voisey has proposed a recorded vote, and that has been seconded by Councillor Lynn Walters. So the process, first of all, needs to be on whether there is a recorded vote or not, and we will need to vote on whether there is a recorded vote. Is that correct?
Mr. Mayor, that is the procedure. What I would suggest in this occasion, given that we are taking a register, so we will have votes recorded. Anyway. Okay. If council is happy, we will use that register as the recorded vote. Unless there is any dissent to that, that's the way I propose we proceed.
Okay, let me just check. Councillor Voisey, Councillor Walters, are you happy with the fact that the register is being taken and that will act as a recorded vote?
Very happy that it's very efficiently done. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm happy with that. Thanks.
Right, okay then. So we will move to the voting process and to allow Councillor Sedgbeer to shut down and restart. And we will go to Councillor Sedgbeer first, if that's okay, Kelly. And Councillor Sedgbeer, would you like to record your vote, please?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to vote for Councillor Spanswick, please.
Thank you, Councillor Sedgbeer. Kelly, do you want to run through the list then?
Yes, it's in alphabetical order, I think. So first we've got Councillor Alex Williams.
Vote for Councillor John Spanswick, please.
Thank you, Councillor Williams. Next
Councillor
then.
Altaf Hussain.
Myself, thank you.
Councillor Amanda Williams.
Hi, I vote for Councillor Hussain.
Councillor Bicella.
I vote for Councillor Altaf Hussain, please. Thank you.
Councillor Brian Jones.
I abstain.
We've done Councillor Sedgbeer. Councillor Webster.
Altaf Hussain, please.
Councillor Smith.
Councillor Spanswick.
Which Councillor Smith, sorry?
Councillor Charles Smith.
Right,
sorry.
okay, thank you. And you got Councillor Charles Smith's vote then, did you, Kelly?
Yes, yeah.
Right, okay, thanks.
Councillor Cheryl Green.
Councillor Spanswick.
Councillor David Lewis.
Councillor Spanswick.
Councillor David White.
Councillor Spanswick.
Councillor Patel.
Councillor Spanswick, please.
Councillor Venables.
Councillor Spanswick, please.
Councillor Howells.
Councillor Spanswick.
Councillor Gary Thomas.
Councillor Spanswick.
There must be a delay in Brinkett in, is there?
Councillor David.
Councillor Spanswick, please.
Councillor Howell Williams.
Councillor Spanswick, please.
Councillor Radcliffe.
Councillor Altaf Hussain.
Councillor Gebbie.
Councillor Spanswick.
Councillor Janice Lewis.
That didn't.
Janice Lewis.
Councillor Spanswick.
Thank you, Janice.
Councillor McCarthy.
Councillor Spanswick.
Councillor Spanswick.
Yes.
Councillor Spanswick, myself.
Councillor Blundell.
Councillor Spanswick, please.
Councillor Julia Williams.
Councillor Spanswick.
Councillor Rowlands.
Councillor Altaf Hussain.
Councillor Edwards.
Councillor Hussain.
Councillor Watts.
Councillor Spanswick.
Councillor Walters.
Councillor Altaf Hussain.
Councillor Malcolm James.
Councillor Spanswick.
Councillor Martin Jones.
Councillor John Spanswick, please.
Councillor Voisey.
Councillor Altaf Hussain.
Councillor Mike Clark.
Councillor Hussain.
Councillor Kern.
Councillor John Spanswick, please.
Councillor Burnett.
Sorry, Councillor John Spanswick.
Councillor Nora Clark.
Abstain.
Councillor Pam Davis.
Councillor John Spanswick, please.
Councillor Paul Davis.
Councillor John Spanswick, please.
Councillor Phil White.
Councillor John Spanswick, please.
Councillor Richard Granville.
Councillor John Spanswick, please.
Councillor Richard Young.
Councillor John Spanswick, please.
Councillor Rod Shaw.
Councillor John Spanswick.
Councillor Ross Penhale Thomas.
Councillor Hussain, please.
Councillor Sturman.
Councillor Hussain, please.
Councillor Vidal.
Councillor Hussain.
Councillor Aspey.
Councillor John Spanswick.
Councillor Dendy.
Councillor Hussain.
Councillor Stephen Smith.
Councillor John Spanswick, please.
Councillor Baldwin.
Councillor Spanswick.
Councillor Tim Thomas.
Councillor Hussain, please.
Councillor Tom Beadle.
Councillor Hussain, please.
And Councillor Tom Gifford.
Councillor Hussain, please.
Mr. Mayor, you've missed me out. Thank you, Richard Collins.
Oh,
Okay,
sorry.
Thank you, Richard. Would you like to cast your vote?
I would like to vote for Councillor John Spanswick, please. Thank you, Mayor.
Is
Thank
there
you.
anybody else who's been left out?
Mr. Mayor, Councillor Tilsley has been missed out as well. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Andrew. Councillor Tilsley, are you there? Councillor Tilsley, can you hear us okay? Hello, Councillor Tilsley, can you hear us okay? This is Bridgen calling Kennelly. Can you hear us, Councillor Tilsley? Okay, I don't know what's happening here, Andrew. Is there any way that we can contact Councillor Tilsley on the phone to ask him how he wishes to cast his vote?
Yes, I shall call him now, Mr. Mayor.
Just looks like it looks like he's just left the meeting to me. Is there anybody else that hasn't cast a vote yet?
Hello, Councillor Tilsley. It's Andrew Rees calling. Your microphone was on, but you weren't reacting to when Mr. Mayor was speaking to you. How do you wish to cast your vote, please?
In favour of who?
It's the options are Councillor Spanswick or Councillor Hussain.
Councillor Spanswick.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Okay.
Members, do you hear Councillor
We did.
Till's views?
Thank you, Andrew, and Kelly will record that as a vote for Councillor Spanswick. So,
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We'll just take a moment now to add up these figures, and then we'll let you know.
okay. Well, obviously we can't move on to the next part yet because the next part is to appoint the Deputy Mayor's Consort. So we do need the result of that before we can move on.
Mr. Mayor, by my
Yes.
calculations, and Andrew is obviously going to double check this, and I've even got my calculator out. I've got 35 for Councillor Spanswick, 17 for Councillor Hussain, and 2 abstaining. Andrew,
Thank
do
you
you
very
confirm?
much.
I make that 34, Kelly, for Councillor Spanswick.
Okay, we can double check the figures, Mr. Mayor, but I think there's
It's
clearly
unanimous.
the vote is in favour of Councillor Spanswick.
Okay, so I'm going to ask now, without, obviously there's that discrepancy of 1 between the 2 votes, but are we as a council unanimous in accepting the fact that the nomination for Councillor John Spanswick is accepted as the Deputy Mayor for the period up until May 2021? All in favour, and I will take a silence as acceptance. Any objections, then please voice those. Well, there we are. Congratulations, Councillor John Spanswick. You are the new Deputy Mayor of Bridgend County Borough Council for the period up until May 2021.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you for everybody for voting. Thank you.
Okay, and you may as well stay on without turning your microphone off, because agenda item number 7 is to announce the Deputy Mayor's Consort. Would you like to declare that, please?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yeah, and yes, again, thank you for everybody that voted me, and I shall do my best to serve everybody equally. My consort for as Deputy Mayor for the ensuing year will be my wife, Susan Spanswick. She suffered with me for 34 years. I'm sure she can last a bit longer. So it's this is Susan Spanswick will be my consort for the as Deputy Mayor.
Thank you very much, John. And as she is your wife, you are going to have to buy lots of dresses, shoes and handbags, which I managed not to do for Nicole. So that's okay. Okay, agenda item number 8, and I'll put that in a letter to her as well so that you can't get away with it. Agenda item number 8 then is to announce the youth mayor of the County Borough of Bridgend, and for the year to May 2021, Megan Stone from CCYD will be the youth mayor. And agenda item number 9 is to announce the Deputy Mayor of the County Borough of Bridgend as Tino Kizaki from Archbishop McGrath Catholic High School. So we'll now move on to agenda item number 10, and that is to elect the leader of Bridgend County Borough Council. Do I have a mover and a seconder for nominations, please?
Can I move, Chair, I'm very, very sorry, but I'm unable to use the chat box, and I know that I'm not the only person that's having difficulties. We can't use the chat box to write anything currently.
Okay, well, obviously we'll just adapt to if that's the case, then please feel free to just interject as you just have. We'll just have to make amendments as we move along, if that's okay. Is that okay, Andrew and Kelly?
Yes, that's fine, Mr. Mayor.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can I speak then, Chair, please?
You can, of course.
Can I nominate Councillor Hugh David as the leader for Bridgend County Borough, please?
Thank you. And do I have a seconder, please?
Yeah, Chair, I'll second that, Chair.
Thank you, Councillor Paul Davis. Are there any other nominations? Okay, so I've taken silence as the fact that there are no other nominations. So by Again, silence of all in favour will accept that our leader will be Councillor Hugh David. There we are. Thank you very much. Congratulations, Hugh. And we will move on to agenda item number 11, which is to receive your report, Leader.
Thanks very much, Mr. Mayor. You're still Mr. Mayor. And first of all, my thanks to you for undertaking the role during what has been the most difficult of years. And you've earned a place in history as our longest serving mayor. I don't think anyone can take that from you, Councillor Baldwin. And you've represented our county borough very well. And I'd also like to congratulate Ken and Julia, John and Susan. I know they will be outstanding representatives and ambassadors for our county borough too. My thanks, of course, to all colleagues for re-electing me as leader of the authority. It's an extraordinary privilege and responsibility to be leader, particularly at this time, and I pledge to once more give the role my full attention and focus, and always to do my very best for all the people and for all the communities that we serve right across Bridgend County Borough. When I last addressed the annual meeting of Council, I talked about how we were continuing to experience some of the most difficult and challenging times that local government has ever faced. Then I was referring to austerity and the profound impact of having to cut over 60 million from core budgets over the space of 10 years. Who could have predicted that within just a few months, this scenario, which continues to be the case, would be further compounded and overshadowed, dwarfed by the global outbreak of the COVID-19 coronavirus. We're all very aware of how this council has once again risen to meet this newest and our greatest challenge yet. The response from the staff of this council has been absolutely remarkable. They've adapted, innovated and persevered under the most difficult of circumstances, and have ensured that this authority has been able to continue to deliver essential services to people all across the county borough. I'm certain the members from all parties will want to join me in recognising their efforts and in offering council staff our sincere gratitude and respect. Secondly, the pandemic has brought together a wide range of organisations and agencies who work together to achieve a common aim across our communities. This included such achievements as setting up 6 emergency childcare hubs overnight, making sure that more than 5,000 children did not go hungry, turning Council Depot into a temporary ambulance station within a few days, setting up Abergaru Manor as a temporary step-down facility for people leaving hospital, and providing 2,300 businesses with more than £28 million in much-needed financial support. We worked alongside the brilliant Barvo and amazing community groups to support thousands of vulnerable people who were shielding, and set up a locally managed track and trace protect system in just 2 weeks. As challenging, as hard, and in many cases as tragic as the pandemic has been, it has brought out the very best in the people of Bridgend County Borough. And it is this aspect above all which has served as an inspirational reminder of why we are here. Of course, we've also faced the biggest economic blow of losing the Ford engine plant, the loss of 1,700 jobs, and the loss of more than 250 million per year from the local economy. I previously told the Welsh Affairs Select Committee at the House of Commons that urgent investment, rapid action is vital to protect the County Borough's communities and local economy, and this remains the case. It is encouraging to see that most of the Ford workers have taken advantage of opportunities for retraining and developing new skills, as they are a very skilled workforce. It's also encouraging that more than 360 of them have found new employment. Further 230 have opted to retire. However, the fact remains that for more than 4 decades, Ford was an anchor company and one of the powerhouses of not just the Bridgend economy, but the regional and Welsh economy. That is why it is more important than ever to maximise the future opportunities posed by the City deal, and for the UK Government and Welsh Government to work tirelessly alongside us to bring in new investment, businesses and jobs. This is, of course, in addition to supporting those that are already here, many of whom are struggling, and ensuring that opportunities remain available for our future generations. In this respect, the Council remains firmly focused upon generating future growth and prosperity, and we invite all businesses to come and see what the area has to offer. Despite the impact of the pandemic and the closure of the Ford engine plant, this Council has also delivered a number of services and facilities that we should rightly feel proud of. Part of our modernisation programme of services for older people, and in partnership with Link Cymru, we've opened 2 new extra care facilities at Tŷ Ysawdra, Tŷ Lloynderw and Maesteg. You only have to visit these facilities to see their worth and the positive change that they're making to the lives of older residents. Ensuring that people can live independently with their partners in their own apartments, where they can receive the support they need, lies at the heart of our vision for the future of social care and housing across the County Borough. Similarly, we have built upon the success of remodelling our children's homes in Bridgend with Call to progress plans for a children's residential facility in Bryn Melyn. This is a key initiative that will enable us to bring some of our most vulnerable out-of-county children home where they belong. We've also continued to deliver significant progress in education. Band A of our flagship 21st Century School Modernisation Programme has already provided state-of-the-art new facilities in communities such as Pencoed, Betws, Coety and Bryn Melyn. Now we have confirmed our commitment towards Band B of the initiative and are set to build upon this success by investing more than 68 million into further new schools. This includes exciting plans for English and Welsh medium provision in the west of the borough, and developing a new special school for children with complex needs, and much more. The Council also continues to be one of the leading authorities in Wales when it comes to areas such as recycling waste and diverting it away from landfill. While our plastic recycling rates have been independently deemed the best in the country and the second highest in the UK, we remain ambitious and have plans in place for providing a new modern household recycling centre at Pyle, which will replace the ageing facility at Tithixter. Elsewhere, we are also delivering on pioneering proposals for slashing carbon emissions, and with the UK's first ever large-scale mine water scheme at Caira and a district heat network in Bridgend Town Centre all making headway, it is easy to see how this county borough is considered to be at the forefront of the UK's future energy revolution. Whether it is projects such as these, delivering multi-million pound investments in cycling and walking routes, or establishing energy efficient new buildings, our commitment towards reducing the county borough's carbon footprint is resulting in real action, as evidenced by our £3 million project to provide new walking and cycling routes in Pencoed and Bridgend as the latest example. We have also committed to record investment of more than £5 million to resurfacing carriageways and footways across Bridgend County Borough, and have ring-fenced another £2 million for further public realm improvements. The Council continues to invest in our green spaces and secured £400,000 to the Valley's Task Force for investment in the Parksip Nature Reserve. We also secured additional investment of £500,000 for Bringarrow Country Park so that conservation work can be carried out alongside community orchard, tree planting, wildlife garden, a rain garden, new ponds, new educational buildings and more. The Council has long maintained a commitment to promoting the Welsh language, and we are delivering on this by developing 4 new Welsh medium childcare centres in the Garw, Ogmore, Bridgend and Porthcawl. These will enable more families to take advantage of free childcare for working parents funded by the Welsh Government. The plans for the first centre, which will be established at Blackmill, are already well underway. Childcare is of course vital to ensuring that people can work and access training. That topic, our employability programme, has been recognised as the most successful in South Wales and is continuing to help hundreds of people who are jobless or facing unemployment. That scheme has never been more important as it is now in supporting citizens across Bridgend County Borough. Cardiff Capital Region City Deal is playing its part in this with a programme for graduate placements which is benefiting local students from Bridgend and firms across Bridgend County Borough. This council is also embracing the programme and is currently completing the latest round of recruiting new apprentices across a wide number of business areas. Regeneration projects are continuing to make progress, with further exciting developments, very exciting developments at Porthcawl, as we look towards realising plans for Salt Lake, and the multi-million pound investment in renewed coastal defences and the Eastern Promenade. Regeneration is also progressing too in our valleys. In Maesteg, where work is underway at the iconic town hall to secure its place at the heart of the valley for many, many generations to come. And Bridgend Town Centre, where we are planning to unveil an all-new master plan template to deliver further regeneration in the town. The manufacturing intensive location still, County Borough has been officially acknowledged by the UK Competitiveness Index as being one of the most competitive areas of Wales. The second busiest train station in the City Deal region, we are an area which serves an important link in the national transport network, both for businesses and for people who need to travel to work or to access training. Thanks to a £5 million investment from the Metro Plus programme, plans are underway for an expansion of parking facilities, a new park and ride at Pyle that will enhance links with the Village Farm Industrial Estate, one of our key industrial sites. Elsewhere, Pencoed, we continue to develop plans for new infrastructure that will enable the closure of the level crossing. We also have plans to improve transport links between Maesteg, Bridgend, Porthcawl and Cardiff. And of course, the new transport terminus in Porthcawl. With projects such as these and many more being planned, this council is continuing to invest in new infrastructure for the county borough. and delivering high quality services for the people we serve. Before I finish, Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make some announcements regarding changes in the leadership of the council. First of all, Janine Nightingale recently joined us as our new Corporate Director of Communities. To formally welcome her to a council meeting. With more than 2 decades experience as a senior manager in local government, Janine is a qualified planner who's previously worked at Cardiff Council at chief officer level. Janine was most recently the head of capital projects and economic development in the capital, where she was responsible for providing strategic direction and leading on the city's £300 million capital programme. As a very proud daughter of my stake, Janine is as passionate about progressing regeneration of our communities as we all are. Following the retirement of Sue Cooper, Claire Marchant is also taking over as a new Corporate Director for Social Services and Wellbeing. Claire has been the Director of Social Services in Cardiff for the past 2 years and brings more than 20 years of senior level experience across Welsh public life to the role. Having made Porthcawl her home and the place where she is raising her family, Claire is as committed to protecting our most vulnerable citizens and the continued improvement and remodelling of social services as we all are. Members will join me in welcoming them both to Bridgend County Borough Council. I'm sure they both will be very successful in their new roles.
Thank you, Leader, and I'm sure that all councillors will welcome them, and we will have plenty of time in the future to have introductions from them. Unfortunately, due to time constraints today, I won't bring them in because we've got a lot more to get through, but welcome to both of you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Mayor, and I'm sorry to say my report is not quite complete, so
I'm sorry.
If that's okay, we'll just complete the report, which does also include the next 2 items, if that is acceptable to you, Mr. Mayor.
Of course, I was going to bring you into the next item anyway.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, much appreciated. In my role as leader, I am of course ably backed by my cabinet colleagues. I am very grateful for their support and would like to acknowledge their ongoing commitment, particularly during what has been our most difficult period yet as Bridgend County Borough Council. I can announce today that for the year ahead there will be one change to the Cabinet. Councillor Phil White will be retiring from the position of Cabinet Member for Social Services and Early Help, and Councillor Nicole Burnett will be the new Cabinet Member for that portfolio. In fulfilling this position over the last few years, Councillor White has offered tireless service. Phil has also acted as a passionate champion for the rights of carers, older people and children and young people. Councillor White is retiring from the Cabinet, but certainly not from the Council. He will continue to be a very active representative for his communities of Caira and Nantyffellon. So, for example, I'm sure he'll continue to be chair of Nantyffellon Primary School Governing Body, a role I know he loves. And he loves being a representative for that community. And I know he's loved being a cabinet member too, but has decided that now is the time to step down. He's been passionate and committed to the role, and I know that Councillor Burnett shares that passion and shares that commitment to public service. I'm very grateful that Councillor Burnett has accepted this position, and together with my Cabinet colleagues, I would like to extend a very warm welcome to her and to offer our sincere thanks to Councillor White for the invaluable contribution that he has made as a Cabinet member for over 10 years. As I am not proposing to make any further changes to the current Cabinet portfolios, particularly during this time, I would like to finish by taking the opportunity to express my sincere thanks to the Deputy Leader, Councillors Patel, Smith and Young for their ongoing and much valued support. Finally, and this is finally, I would also like to add my personal thanks to all members for their support during this unprecedented time of a global health crisis. There are some political differences in the chamber, we know that, but we are going to face a very long, hard and difficult winter. And I know any political differences we have, secondary to the overriding objective that we all share to protect the residents from the current crisis as best we can. And I know we will want to continue to work as one council to support and protect our citizens, and that is what we will all do together. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Leader. And I did consult with the legal officer on this before the meeting starts, and because of the extent of the agenda today, I'm going to limit contributions to Cabinet members now, and anybody else that wishes to congratulate and thank Phil for his service and for Nicole, please could you do that in email rather than clogging up the conversation box. So I'll come first to Councillor Charles Smith, please.
Thank you, Mayor. I promise I won't keep you long. But apart from the Leader, I now appear to be the longest serving member of the Cabinet. So with that new status, I really want to put on record in the minutes my appreciation of Councillor Phil White, and to say what a privilege it's been to sit with him in this capacity. I could go on, and I'm not exaggerating when I say that Councillor Phil White is a political hero of mine, and he was long before I knew him. I met Tyrone O'Sullivan in my capacity when I was a lecturer, and I think there's a wonderful story to be told one day by Hollywood, I think, with Liam Neeson playing Councillor Phil White. But I'll save all those comments for another time. Phil is incredibly modest and an incredibly capable Cabinet member, and it really has been a privilege to work with him. And at the same time, a warm welcome to Councillor Nicole Burnett. We'll look after you, and you're going to do a cracking job, we know that.
Thank you, Charles, and I'm sure you've already started on the script for that movie. Okay, we're fetching Councillor Howell Williams next, please.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor, and without fear of repetition, no, it has been a privilege to work alongside Phil. He's a very wise, got a very wise head, and he's been a great support to me. And you know, I wish him well in his retirement. I'm sure we will still wish to call on his services at some point. And welcome Nicole to the team.
Thank you, Deputy Leader. Councillor Richard Young, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I would also like to record my thanks to Phil, and to say what a privilege it's been to be able to call him colleague. I, for one, will miss his wisdom within the Cabinet, a wisdom that has been born out of a long experience of representing people that he's worked with, people of his community, and I really need to say that if he was a hero of Councillor Charles Smith, he's become a hero of mine. I know that all his dealings with members, no matter what party they are from, have been fair and equitable, and I think he's earned his retirement royally. Phil, I thank you. I'd like to call you friend, and I hope that you'd allow me to do that. I, for one, will miss you. By the same token, I'd like to welcome Councillor Burnett, and I know how passionately she takes every undertaking that she accepts, and I'm sure that she is going to be a very, very good cabinet member. I don't know what it is about Kyra, going back to Phil, that creates these wonderful representatives. I'm old enough to be on Mid Glamorgan County Council, where we had a chairman of social services that was well respected throughout the whole of Wales. And of course, I'm referring to the late Vernon Hart. I didn't think he would be matched in any way, but Phil, you proved me wrong, and thank you for all your service.
Thank you, Councillor Young. Councillor Denisha Patel, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I didn't want the moment to pass without me adding my gratitude to Phil. Thanks for the advice. You know, you are my brother from the other valley, and we've always championed the cause of the valleys. Unlike the other members of the cabinet, I really know why you're retiring, and that's to spend more time on the ukulele. But I'm keen to hear the new songs. And I'd just like to end by saying I'm thrilled for Councillor Burnett, and I'm really excited that she's joining the cabinet.
Okay, so I'm going to allow Councillor Phil White to air his thoughts on those thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I won't prolong. I know how much business we have on the agenda, but thanks you all for all your kind words, for all your support. It's been a very difficult decision to make for me and my family, but we've made it at short notice, and I apologise for that, Leader, but it was made at short notice. But yeah, I do really appreciate my time in Bridgend. 10 years as cabinet member taught me so much, and I'm still learning. And looking ahead for Nicole, I said earlier, there's nothing to stand back from. You've got an excellent team within the Social Service Directorate, brilliant officers, brilliant managers. You've got Claire Margent coming in with her expertise. I think you just go from strength to strength, and I do wish you sincerely all the best for that. But it does come a time, and I have found, Mr. Mayor, I don't know how many others, the last 7 months working virtually. I was at a health board meeting 4 hours this morning before council today. I'm a people's person, and I've missed that contact, that personal get together. You know, I've lost all that, and I just found it far more difficult. But anyway, I'm the wrong side of 65. I'm not done yet, and I'm going to continue on in different roles going forward. I'm there, obviously, for Nicole to assist where I can, but more importantly, I'm going to miss everybody that I've been associated with at BCBC, and will miss sitting on that top table, as they used to say over there, without holding the seat onto anybody. But it's time to move on, and I move over. I'm already history. So welcome, Nicole, to the role of Cabinet Member for Social Services and Early Help, and thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Phil. I'm sure every councillor in this chamber would congratulate you on your retirement. And I suppose it wouldn't be a council meeting without mentioning that please don't think of your time on cabinet as being Kyra and mine water under the bridge. Okay, we'll move on to the next agenda item because that was such a poor joke, really. Okay. Agenda item number 14 then is a report of the monitoring officer and the proposed programme of ordinary meetings of the council and council meetings. Kelly, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Obviously going to be difficult to follow that joke, but I present you the schedule of meetings. So members, the purpose of this report is to propose a programme of ordinary meetings of the council and council committees for October 2020 to April 21. You also have in your papers the programme of meetings for May 21 to April 2022, and at this stage those meetings are just for noting. The approval of the programme of meetings, as Council will be aware, is required in accordance with the Council's constitution. The proposed programme of ordinary meetings for October 2020 to April 2021 is set out at 4.1 of your report. You will note it includes the date to consider the budget, which has been scheduled for the 24th of February 2021. However, you will note that from previous years, this can change, depending on the timeline as set out with the local government settlement. At 4.2, you can see that each council meeting will start at the scheduled time of 3 p.m. This has previously been agreed at full council. And the AGM for the next year has been provisionally booked in for the 19th of May 2021. As things stand at the moment with the regulations, that will be anticipated to go ahead as planned, again, unless there are changes to the regulation as we go through the year. In order to assist members with their future planning, a draft programme of meetings for 2021 is attached at Appendix 2. And Council is also asked to note the meeting dates for Cabinet committees and the Coilchurch Crem Joint Committee, which are included in Appendix 1. Members, I would ask you to note one change to the programme that's in your pack. Subject and Overview Scrutiny Committee 3, it's in your pack on the 25th of November, but that meeting will actually take place on the 16th of November. Unless there's any questions, Mr. Mayor, I'll take you to recommendations of paragraph 9.
Thank you, Kelly. And do I have a mover and a seconder for that?
Move.
All in favour?
Aye.
Right, thank you very much. I'll take silence as an agreement of that. We now move on to agenda item.
Mr. Mayor, can I come in very briefly?
Andrew.
A proposed change as well to the Democratic Services Committee to move that from the 22nd of October to the 4th of November as well.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Andrew. And obviously you'll reflect that in people's calendars going forward anyway.
Indeed.
Okay, so Kelly, this is you again. Agenda item number 15, the report of the Monitoring Officer and the appointments to council committees and to other council bodies. Now, I appreciate this is going to take some time, so I am proposing a 5-minute comfort break at this moment in time. So if everybody would like their comfort break, we will meet back here at 4:15. Start on agenda item 15 then, please, Kelly.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The purpose of this report is to seek council approval for the appointment of overview and scrutiny committees and other committees, subcommittees, panels and bodies as the council considers appropriate to deal with matters which are not reserved to either full council or our executive functions. As you're aware, as in the previous report, this is required under our constitution. At part 3 of the constitution, members will find the council's committees, subcommittees, panels and other bodies set out. And then in your report, detailing from 4.2 onwards, are committees which are governed by the provisions of the Local Government Wales Measure 2011 in terms of their composition and or the appointment of their chairpersons. There are a number of committees set out in your report. I'm just going to highlight some particular issues in relation to certain committees. Firstly, the Audit Committee. You'll be aware that the measure made a number of requirements in relation to the Audit Committee's membership. The chairperson is required to be appointed by the Audit Committee at its first scheduled meeting, so this isn't an appointment that can be made by full council. Council are also requested to note that not more than one member of the Audit Committee can be a member of the Executive, and it cannot be the leader, and the chairperson of the committee must also not be a member of the Executive. This committee also has a lay member. The current lay member is Miss Jay Williams, who was reappointed at the annual meeting of Council in 2017, and this term will expire in May 2022. Members may be aware that the Local Government and Elections Wales Bill proposes a number of changes to reform and strengthen local government. The bill proposes renaming the Audit Committee to now be called the Governance and Audit Committee. It is recommended that Council approve this change in advance of the legislation coming into effect, and if Council approves this change, it is also recommended that the terms of reference within Part 3 of the Constitution is accordingly amended. Members will note that both the Audit Committee and the Standards Committee have within their terms of reference the remit to monitor the Council's whistleblowing policy. This has been reviewed, and it is now recommended that the terms of reference of the Audit Committee is amended to remove this reference, and the policy's operation will continue to be monitored by the Standards Committee. Members, if I can take you to 4.3, Chairpersons of Overview and Scrutiny Committee. The measure establishes procedures whereby Overview and Scrutiny Committee chairs are nominated and appointed. As a minimum, the chairpersons of these committees is based on the size and political balance of each of the groups that make up the Council. These chairs should be allocated accordingly, and this is set out in the table at 4.3.1. So we have one Labour chairperson, one Independent Alliance and one Conservative chairperson. As members are aware, the chairperson for the Corporate Scrutiny Committee is unallocated, and the committee themselves will determine that at their meeting. If I can take you to the update on Democratic Services Committee. This committee is comprised solely of councillors and cannot include more than one member of the executive, again cannot be the leader. It is a function of Council to appoint the chairperson of this committee, and they cannot be a member of any of the political groups represented by the executive group. Members, the current remit and functions of committees and other bodies of the Council remain unchanged and are as set out in Part 3 of the Constitution. For reference, they are attached at Appendix 1 of your report. Council is aware of the importance of the political balance. It is important to determine the allocation of seats on committees. The current political balance is shown at Appendix 2 of your report. Your committee structure is set out at Appendix 3 of your report. And at Appendix 4, you have the current membership of committees as they stood before this AGM. I have had some updates from group leaders, and when we move on to the recommendations, and at that point of the recommendation, I can run through the proposals that have been put forward. Members, unless there's any particular questions on that, I propose we move to the recommendations and we deal with them point by point. And then as we get particularly to point 6 and point 7, I can fill you in on further detail I've received from the group leaders. Thank you.
Thank you, Kelly. So we will go first of all, we need a mover and a seconder, please.
Move.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. Okay, so we will take the recommendations as they're listed there. Then we will move to the recommendation of number 1, to rename the Audit Committee. Are we all in favour of the renaming of that committee?
Aye.
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 Thank you very much. Thank you. Okay, I don't see any dissent from that. So recommendation number 2 then, to appoint the Overview and Scrutiny Committees and such other committees of Council considered appropriate to deal with the matters. All in favour of recommendation 2?
Aye.
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 Thank you.
Aye.
Okay, recommendation number 3, to determine the size and terms of reference of those committees as set out in Appendix 1 of the report. All in favour?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Aye.
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 Okay, number 4 then, to determine the allocation of seats to political groups in accordance with the political balance rule set out in Appendix 2 of the report. All in favour?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
And then recommendation number 5, to determine the political groups represented at council are entitled to make which appointments of the Overview and Scrutiny Committee chairpersons. All in favour?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, so now we move on to recommendation 6, which is to receive nominations and to appoint councillors to serve on each of the committees, panels and other bodies as indicated. So the first one is Appeals Committee, Appeals Panel, please. Okay, just let me switch back to Skype.
Yeah. Mr Mayor, we have the committees set out with their current membership
Yes.
at Appendix 4 of your pack.
Yes.
With your consent, Mr Mayor, what I propose to do is read out the proposed changes that have been submitted to me in advance.
Okay.
And then group leaders can confirm if there are any other changes they are proposing.
Okay, that's fine. And I've had people that I've identified to speak, but I'm assuming that's going to be in relation to nominations to chair in those panels and committees. So Kelly, we'll take you first.
Okay, I'm going to read through these. I'm not sure what order they've been submitted to me in, so you'll have to bear with me on this.
Okay.
So these are the changes we've received from group leaders other than Labour for a minute, because that's in a separate email. So for Democratic Services Committee, we've got Councillor Matthew Voisey replacing Councillor Kay Rowlands.
Okay.
For Development Control Committee, we have Councillor Altaf Hussain to be appointed to the Conservative group's vacancy on the committee.
Right.
For Licensing Committee, we have Councillor Alex Williams to be appointed to the Independent Alliance group's vacancy.
Okay.
And that applies also to the Licensing Act 2003 committee, so Alex Williams will be appointed to the vacancy.
Okay.
For the Town and Community Council Forum, we have Councillor Kay Rowlands to replace Councillor Carolyn Webster.
Okay.
And we have Councillor Nora Clark to be removed from the forum and Councillor James Radcliffe to be appointed to the resulting vacancy.
Okay, thank you. Do you want to run through the Labour ones?
Yeah, I'll just swap screens. So what we have here is Councillor Nicole Burnett will be removed from the appeals panel, removed from Overview and Scrutiny 1 and removed from Corporate Overview and Scrutiny. And on all those committees, she will be replaced with Councillor Stuart Baldwin. And then we've got Councillor David White will be removed from Overview and Scrutiny 3 and replaced with Councillor John Paul Blundell. Councillor Stephen Smith will be removed from Overview and Scrutiny 2 and the Town and Community Forum, and he will be replaced by Councillor Phil White. That's everything that's been submitted to me beforehand. Mr Mayor, if we can just check with group leaders whether they've got anything else to update.
Okay, group leaders, please. Ross, you've indicated first, so I will come to you.
Yeah, thank you, Mr Mayor. Just minor amendments from my group, Clearly Independents. Replacing on the appeals panel, Councillor Edwards as myself, Councillor Ross Thomas. And on the Town and Community Council Forum, replacing myself, Councillor Ross Thomas, with Councillor Keith Edwards. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ross. Nora, do you want to come in next?
Yes, what Kelly read out is fine. It's fine with my group. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Tom Gifford next, please.
Yeah, all mine are fine, thanks.
Okay, and I can see that Tim Thomas has identified that there's no amendments from his point of view as well. I have seen pointed out there that Councillor Nicole Burnett is also on development control, and we identified the replacement for that. Oh, sorry, Councillor Denisha Patel's indicated that she wants to speak.
Sorry, Kelly. I missed one committee. One amendment. Can Councillor Nicole Burnett be replaced with Councillor Stuart Baldwin on development control as well, please?
Thank you, Denisha. So I don't think there are any other amendments. So be all in favour of those changes.
Right.
Great.
Mr Mayor, can I just come in on that?
Yes, Councillor Young.
Can I just question the current makeup of the Church Crematorium Joint Committee?
Which one was that, sorry?
The Christchurch Crematorium. Joint.
Okay. What's your question?
Well, I see that we've listed David White as a member, and on the current, he's never been a member of the Christchurch Crematorium. I think it might be a mistake because I don't see Councillor John Spanswick's name there.
Okay.
Can I ask for clarification on that, Mr. Mayor?
You can, of course. And who's going to give you clarification? Kelly, anything on that? Or is it going to need to come back to Denisha?
I'll have to come back to you on that one, Councillor Young. I think it could just be a typo in the report.
Okay, is everybody?
I'm sure it is, Kelly.
Okay, so if people are happy with that small amendment or change, then we will move on to recommendation number 7 then, which is to receive nominations and to appoint chairperson and vice chairperson of the following committees, panels and other bodies. It is being noted that Audit Committee at its first scheduled meeting will appoint the chair and vice chair. So we...
Now, quick.
Sorry, who was that? No? Okay. So the first one then is the appeals panel. Can I have nominations for chairperson, first of all, of the appeals panel? Okay, so I have Councillor Jane Gebby that wants to speak first, please.
Councillor Pam Davis.
Thank you. And do I have a seconder for that, please?
I'll second that, Chair.
Thank you, Councillor Davis. And then Councillor Nora Clark, please.
I'd like to propose Councillor Penhale Thomas, please.
Sorry, Councillor?
Penhale Thomas.
Okay, thank you. And do I have a seconder for that?
I second that, thanks.
Who was that then? Sorry, Amanda?
Councillor Amanda Williams.
Thank you. It's just to make sure that we've got that recorded. Okay, so we will go to the recording of the vote again as we did for the Deputy Mayor, and obviously we don't need to record to have a vote for a recorded vote because of the way that it is being recorded. So again, we will go to Kelly, and Kelly will ask members to vote and indicate their preference as it moves forward. Thank you. And if you are not called out, then of course please let us know at the end of the roll call.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So again, I'll read through the register, and if you could indicate Councillor Davis or Councillor Penhale Thomas. So we start with Councillor Alex Williams.
Councillor Pam Davis.
Councillor Hussain.
Sorry, I didn't get the names rightly.
Councillor Hussain, it's Pam Davis or Ross Penhale Thomas.
Ross Hill Thomas, please.
Thank you, Altaf.
Councillor Amanda Williams.
Councillor Penhale Thomas.
Councillor Pachella.
Councillor Penhale Thomas.
Councillor Brian Jones. Councillor Jones.
Councillor Penhale Thomas.
Councillor Sedgbeer.
Councillor Pam Davis.
Councillor Webster.
Councillor Penhale Thomas, please.
Councillor Charles Smith.
Councillor Pamela Davis, please.
Councillor Green.
Councillor Penhale Thomas.
Councillor David Lewis.
Councillor Pam Davis.
Councillor David White.
Councillor Pam Davis.
Councillor Patel.
Pam Davis, please.
Councillor Venables.
Councillor Penhale Thomas, please.
Councillor Howells.
Councillor Pam Davis, please.
Councillor Gary Thomas.
Councillor Pam Davis.
Councillor Hugh David.
Councillor Pam Davis, please.
Councillor Howard Williams.
Councillor Pam Davis, please.
Councillor Radcliffe.
Councillor Penhale Thomas, please.
Councillor Gerbie.
Councillor Pam Davis, please.
Councillor Janice Lewis.
Councillor Pam Davis, please.
Councillor Tilsley.
Councillor Tilsley, are you having trouble again?
Sorry. Just a second.
Andrew, I think what we'll do is you can contact Councillor Tilsley and we will carry on with the roll call and come back to that one. Is that okay?
Yes, that's fine, Mr. Mayor. Yes, I'll give him
you.
a call in the meantime.
Thank you. Kelly, next then, please.
Councillor John McCarthy.
Councillor Pam Davis.
Councillor Spanswick.
Councillor Pam Davis.
Councillor Blundell.
Councillor Pam Davis.
Councillor Julia Williams.
Councillor Ross Penhale Thomas.
Councillor Rowlands.
Councillor Penhale Thomas.
Councillor Edwards.
Penhale Thomas.
Councillor Watts.
Councillor Pam Davis.
Councillor Walters.
Councillor Pam Davis.
Councillor Malcolm James.
Councillor Penhale Thomas.
Councillor Martin Jones.
Councillor Pam Davis.
Councillor Voisey.
Councillor Penhale Thomas.
Sorry, whose microphone's that on there then? Thank you. Next, so did you catch that last one, Kelly? Sorry.
Yes, that was Councillor Voisey and he went for Councillor Penhale Thomas.
Thank you.
So next we got Councillor Mike Clark.
Councillor Penhale Thomas.
Councillor Kern.
Councillor Pam, please.
Councillor Burnett.
Councillor Pam Davis, please.
Councillor Nora Clark.
Councillor Penhale Thomas, please.
Councillor Pam Davis.
Okay.
Councillor Davis.
Councillor Paul Davis, you're asking for, Chair?
No, Pam Davis at the moment, Paul.
Myself, Pamela Davis, thank you.
Thanks, Pam.
Councillor Paul Davis.
Councillor Pam Davis, please.
Councillor Phil White.
Councillor Pam Davis, please.
Councillor Collins.
Councillor Pam Davis, please.
Councillor Granville.
Councillor Pam Davis, please.
Councillor Young.
Councillor Pam Davis, please.
Councillor Shaw.
Councillor Pam Davis, please.
Councillor Penhale Thomas.
Myself, Councillor Penhale Thomas.
Councillor Sturman.
Councillor Penhale Thomas, please.
Councillor Vidal.
Councillor Penhale Thomas.
Councillor Aspey.
Councillor Penhale Thomas.
Councillor Dendy.
Councillor Penhale Thomas.
Councillor Stephen Smith.
Councillor Pam Davis, please.
Councillor Baldwin.
Pam Davis, please.
Councillor Tim Thomas.
Councillor Penhale Thomas, please.
Councillor Beadle.
Councillor Ross Penhale Thomas, thank you.
Councillor Gifford.
Ross Penhale Thomas, please.
Thank you. Is anybody been missed out?
Councillor Tilsley voted, Kelly?
Just waiting for Councillor
Just waiting for Andrew to come back.
I've just got Councillor Tilsley on the phone with me now.
Okay.
We're voting for the chair of the appeals panel, and the vote is between Councillor Pam Davis and Councillor Ross Penhale Thomas. How do you wish to cast your vote, please?
Pam Davis.
Did you hear that, Mr. Mayor?
I did. Pam Davis.
Okay, thank you.
Kelly, I've had a question raised in the conversation box. Ross Penhill-Thomas is asking, did Brian Jones vote?
Yes, Councillor Jones voted for Councillor Penhill-Thomas.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll just add these up quickly now.
Thank you very much.
Mr Mayor, we've got those, and it's 30 for Councillor Pam Davis and 23 for Councillor Penhill-Thomas.
And Andrew, do you have the same figures?
I do, Mr Mayor. I concur with those figures of Kelly's. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So all in favour of Pam Davis as Chair of Appeals? And I'll take a silence as acceptance. Thank you very much. We will move on then to the appointment of Vice Chair of Appeals and the nominations. So we've got Councillor Jane Gebby first, please.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. Can I nominate Councillor John McCarthy, please?
Okay, do I have any other nominations, or do I have a seconder for that first of all?
Yeah, I'll second that, Chair.
Thank you, Councillor Davis. Any other nominations? I have no other nominations, so we've had a proposer and a seconder. All in favour, Councillor John McCarthy as Vice Chair.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Congratulations, John.
Yeah.
Okay, the next one then is Democratic Services Committee to appoint a chairperson, please. Can I have nominations? Nora, please.
I'd like to nominate Councillor Elaine Venables.
Okay, do I have a seconder for that, please?
Second.
Thank you, I've seen that. Do we have any other nominations? We don't, so all in favour? Thank you very much. Congratulations, Elaine. Thank you very much. Okay, the next one then is Development Control Committee. First of all, we'll take chairperson. Can I have nominations, please? Jane, please.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. Can I nominate Councillor Gary Thomas, please?
Thank you. And a seconder?
I'll second that, Chair.
And Councillor Nora Clark then, please.
I'd like to nominate Councillor Sorrel Dendy, please.
Okay, Matthew, you've seconded, but who are you seconding? Gary Thomas or Sorrel?
I second Sorrel.
Right, okay. So we will again move to a vote, and it will be recorded again in the way that we've done it. So we will start again, Kelly, if that's okay, with the roll call.
Okay, so this time we're looking for Councillor Thomas or Councillor Dendy.
That's right.
Okay, so if we start with Councillor Alex Williams.
Councillor Dendy.
Councillor Hussain.
Councillor Hussain.
Okay, shall I come back to Councillor Hussain?
Yeah, he may have dropped out of the call, so we'll come back to that.
Councillor Amanda Williams.
Councillor Dendy.
Councillor Pachella.
Councillor Dendy.
Councillor Brian Jones.
Councillor Denby.
Councillor Sedgwick.
Councillor Gary Thomas.
Councillor Webster.
Councillor Webster.
I'm here.
Sorry.
Yeah, sorry.
Press the button in time.
That's okay, no worries.
Councillor Dendy, please.
Councillor Charles Smith.
Councillor Gary Thomas, please.
Councillor Green.
Councillor Dendy.
Councillor David Lewis.
Councillor Gary Thomas.
Councillor David White.
Councillor Gary Thomas.
Councillor Patel.
Councillor Gary Thomas, please.
Councillor Venables.
Councillor Dendy, please.
Councillor Howells.
Councillor Gary Thomas, please.
Councillor Gary Thomas.
Gary?
Myself, sorry, Kev.
Thank you.
Councillor David.
Councillor Gary Thomas, please.
Councillor Howell Williams.
Gary Thomas.
Councillor Radcliffe.
Councillor Dendy.
Councillor Gerby.
Councillor Gary Thomas.
Councillor Janice Lewis.
Councillor Gary Thomas.
Councillor Tilsley.
I think we'll probably go with the fact that Andrew will need to call him, and we'll come back to that.
Okay. Councillor McCarthy.
Councillor Gary Thomas.
Councillor Spanswick.
Councillor Gary Thomas.
Councillor Blundell.
Councillor Gary Thomas, please.
Councillor Julia Williams.
Councillor Gary Thomas.
Councillor Rowlands.
Councillor Dendy, please.
Councillor Edwards.
Councillor Dendy, please.
Councillor Watts.
Councillor Sorrell Dendy.
Councillor Walters.
Councillor Gary Thomas.
Councillor Malcolm James.
Councillor Gary Thomas.
Councillor Martin Jones.
Councillor Gary Thomas.
Councillor Voisey.
Councillor Dendy.
Councillor Mike Clark.
Councillor Denby.
Councillor Kern.
Councillor Thomas, please.
Councillor Burnett.
Councillor Gary Thomas, please.
Councillor Nora Clark.
Councillor Dendy, please.
Councillor Pam Davis.
Councillor Gary Thomas, please.
Councillor Paul Davis.
Councillor Gary Thomas, please.
Councillor Phil White.
Councillor Gary Thomas, please.
Councillor Collins.
Councillor Gary Thomas, please.
Councillor Granville.
Councillor Gary Thomas, please.
Councillor Young.
Councillor Gary Thomas, please.
Councillor Shaw.
Councillor Gary Thomas, please.
Councillor Penhale Thomas.
Councillor Sorrell Dendy, please.
Councillor Sturman.
Councillor Sorrell Dendy, please.
Councillor Vidal.
Councillor Dendy, please.
Councillor Aspey.
Councillor Sorrell Dendy, please.
Councillor Dendy.
Me, please.
Councillor Stephen Smith.
Councillor Gary Thomas, please.
Councillor Baldwin.
Gary Thomas.
Councillor Tim Thomas.
Yeah. Councillor Dendy, please.
Councillor Beadle.
Councillor Dendy, please.
Councillor Gifford.
Councillor Dendy.
Thanks. And if I can go back to Councillor Hussain.
Councillor Dendy, please.
There we are. And if I hand over to Andrew now, who should have Councillor Tilsley on the line.
Okay, Andrew, you've got Councillor Tilsley there?
Yeah, I'm ringing him now.
Okay.
Hello, Councillor Tilsley. We're seeking the nominations for the chair of Development Control Committee. They are Councillor Gary Thomas and Councillor Sorrell Dendy.
I heard that very clearly then, Andrew, thank you. He said Gary Thomas. You got that recorded, Kelly? Yes, is that okay?
Yeah,
Sorry.
I've just been through those, and we've got 30 to Councillor Thomas and 23 to Councillor Dendy.
Okay, so that is unanimous. So we appoint, oh, it's not unanimous, but he wins it. So all in favour, Councillor Gary Thomas. Congratulations, Gary, Chair of Development Control.
Thank you very much, all.
Okay, we then have a Vice Chair of Development Control Committee. Can I have nominations, please? Nora, would you like to speak?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to nominate Councillor Sorrel Dendy.
Okay, do I have a seconder for that, please?
I'll second that, thanks.
Okay, and any other nominations? Don't have any other nominations. So congratulations, Councillor
Sorry,
Dendy.
Mr. Mayor.
Oh, sorry, yeah.
I'd like to nominate Councillor Richard Granville.
Oh, right, okay, sorry, I didn't see anything come through on that. So I have a second.
I can't seem to type on my thing at the moment. I'll figure it out.
Second that. I'll second that, Mayor.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Spanswick. Okay, so we have two nominations again, so we will run through the roll call and record those. So Kelly, over to you again, please.
Okay, can I just confirm that both nominations have been seconded?
So I had John Paul and propose and Councillor Spanswick second, Richard Granville, and Nora proposed Councillor Dendy, and I believe Councillor Amanda Williams seconded. Sorry.
Yes, I did.
Correct? Thank you, Amanda.
Okay, I run through the register again then.
So Matthew Voices asked a question. Sorry, was not the nomination accepted? Speak. So Matthew, would you like to speak?
Yeah, sorry. A nomination was put in, and you, as the chair, accepted that nomination with no other.
Second,
you know, it was accepted for Councillor Sorrel Dendy, and you congratulated her, and all of a sudden we're having a vote. I think can the monitoring officer please clarify?
Well, we just had it. I will go to her, but obviously I did have Councillor Blundell that came in and said that he had difficulties typing to be able to speak there. So Kelly, can I seek your advice on that?
Yeah, I think we need to have a little bit of leeway really, because we are doing this electronically. There are some delays and some glitches in the system. So I think for completeness and for fairness, we need to accept that second nomination that came in. You know, it was made very quickly before the mayor could confirm everything. So I'm happy to proceed to the vote.
Yes, so am I. So we'll proceed to the vote then. Can you run through the roll call, Kelly?
Okay, Councillor Alex Williams.
Councillor Dendy.
Councillor Hussain.
Councillor Dendy, please.
Councillor Amanda Williams.
Councillor Dendy.
Councillor Pachella.
Councillor Dendy.
Councillor Brian Jones.
Councillor Dendy.
Councillor Sedgbeer.
Councillor Richard Granville.
Councillor Webster.
Councillor Dendy, please.
Councillor Charles Smith.
Councillor Granville, please.
Councillor Green.
Councillor Dendy.
Councillor David Lewis.
Sorry. Granville, sorry. Councillor Granville.
Councillor David White.
Councillor Granville.
Councillor Patel.
Councillor Richard Granville, please.
Councillor Venables.
Councillor Dendy, please.
Councillor Howells.
Councillor Granville, please.
Councillor Gary Thomas.
Councillor Granville, please.
Councillor David.
Councillor Granville, please.
Councillor Howell Williams.
Councillor Granville.
Councillor Radcliffe.
Sorry, Kelly. Councillor Edwards, do you mind just muting your microphone while the vote is happening? Thank you. It's causing some feedback. Sorry, Kelly. Next.
Councillor Radcliffe.
Councillor Dendy.
Councillor Gerbie.
Councillor Granville, please.
Councillor Lewis. Janice Lewis.
Councillor Granville, please.
Councillor Tilsley. Or we'll come back to Councillor Tilsley at the end.
Yes.
Councillor McCarthy.
Councillor Richard Granville.
Councillor Spanswick.
Councillor Richard Granville.
Councillor Blundell.
Councillor Richard Granville, please.
Councillor Julia Williams.
Councillor Dendy.
Councillor Rowlands.
Councillor Dendy.
Councillor Edwards. Councillor Edwards, you on mute.
Oh, sorry. Councillor Dendy.
Councillor Watts.
Councillor Dendy.
Councillor Walters.
Councillor Granville.
Councillor James.
Councillor Dendy.
Councillor Martin Jones.
Councillor Richard Granville.
Councillor Voisey.
Councillor Dendy.
Councillor Mike Clark.
Councillor Denby.
Councillor Kuhn.
Councillor Richard Granville.
Councillor Burnett.
Councillor Richard Granville, please.
Councillor Nora Clark.
Councillor Dendy, please.
Councillor Pam Davis.
Councillor Richard Granville, please.
Councillor Paul Davis.
Councillor Richard Granville, please.
Councillor Phil White.
Councillor Richard Granville, please.
Councillor Collins.
Councillor Richard Granville, please.
Councillor Granville.
Myself, please.
Councillor Young.
Councillor Richard Granville, please.
Councillor Shaw.
Councillor Richard Granville, please.
Councillor Penhill Thomas.
Councillor Sorrell Dendy, please.
Councillor Sturman.
Councillor Sorrell Dendy, please.
Councillor Vidal.
Councillor Dendy.
Councillor Aspey.
Councillor Sorrell Dendy, please.
Councillor Dendy.
Myself, please.
Councillor Stephen Smith.
Councillor Richard Granville, please.
Councillor Baldwin.
Sorry, Richard Granville, Kelly.
Councillor Beadle.
Yeah, Councillor Dendy, please.
Sorry, I missed Councillor Tim Thomas.
Councillor Dendy, please.
Councillor Gifford.
Sorrell Dendy, please.
Thanks. And if we can go to Andrew now to speak to Councillor Tilsley.
Hi, Andrew. Do you have Councillor Tilsley there?
Just getting him on the line now. Thank you, Councillor Tilsley. It's for the Vice Chair of Development Control Committee. The nominations are Councillor Dendy and Councillor Granville.
Councillor Granville.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Tilsley.
Okay, is that everybody voted now, Kelly? We're not waiting for any others?
That's it, I think.
Okay.
Just add these up.
Sorry, Andrew, just while you're doing that, I've noticed that Councillor Tim Thomas is leaving the meeting for the afternoon, so can we just record his time of departure, and so that there's no question in relation to votes on any future chairs or vice chairs that he won't be here for that vote.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. We've recorded that as at the time he's left the meeting. Thank you.
Okay, but we've now checked the votes there, and we have 25 for Councillor Dendy and 28 for Councillor Granville.
Thank you very much. So that's all in favour. Councillor Granville is the Vice Chair of Development Control. Congratulations, Richard. So we move next on to Licensing Committee and Licensing Act 2003 Committee, and I need nominations for that, please. Councillor Gebbie.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Can I nominate Councillor David Lewis, please?
Thank you, Jane. And a seconder, please.
Yeah, I'll second that, Chair.
Thank you. And do I have any other nominations? I'm going to ask again, because obviously, just in case there's any technical issues that you want to speak, do we have any other nominations for Chair of Licensing? Okay, I think I've given enough time on that. All in favour? And I'll take silence as an acceptance. Thank you very much. Thank you, David, and congratulations. That's probably the easiest one of the afternoon. So we'll move.
Thank you, everybody.
We'll move on to Vice Chair of Licensing Committee and Licensing Act 2003 now, please. Any nominations? Councillor Gebbie, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Can I nominate Councillor Pamela Davis, please?
I seconder.
I'll second that, Chair.
Thank you, Councillor Davis. Any other nominations? Okay, congratulations, Pam. It doesn't look like there's any other one, so you've been appointed as Vice Chair of Licensing.
Thank you very much, Chair.
Okay, Town and Community Council Forum, Chairperson nominations, please. Any nominations?
No, I nominate the leader as custom and practice.
Okay, thank you very much, Charles. Do we have a seconder for that?
Seconded.
Yeah. Okay. Any other people wishing to nominate? Otherwise, we'll accept as the leader, as the chair of that group. Thank you very much. And the next one is to appoint a vice chair of the Town and Community Council Forum.
Mr. Mayor, if I may, can I nominate Councillor Charles Smith?
You can, and I'll have a seconder, please.
I'll second that, Chair.
And are there any other nominations? If not, we will move on. Congratulations, Charles. You're re-elected as Vice Chair of Town and Community Council Forum. Okay, that is all under recommendation 7. So we'll move to recommendation 8, which is to receive nominations and appoint the chairpersons of the following overview and scrutiny committees in accordance with the provisions of paragraph 4.3 of the report. So we will take subject overview and scrutiny committee 1 first, please.
I nominate Tom Gifford.
Thank you, Lynn. Do I have a seconder for that?
Yes, Mayor.
I've got it. I can see obviously Kay's done that. Thank you, Kay. Thank you, Ros, as well. So if there are no other nominations, then congratulations, Tom. You've been elected as the Chair of Scrutiny 1. Councillor Jane Gebbie, please.
Sorry, Mr. Mayor, by convention, surely we should actually see if everybody agrees with that. Because, you know, sorry.
We can then, and obviously these aren't usual times, and I'm taking silence as of the fact that all are in favour. If people aren't in favour, then they need to raise their concerns. Unfortunately, I can't see if people have objections. People need to voice those objections. So I'm assuming there are no, sorry, I shouldn't assume anything, but I'm presuming there are no objections. And again, I'm taking silence as an acceptance of that. So congratulations, Tom, you've been elected as the Chair of Scrutiny 1. So we will move on to Scrutiny 2 then, please. Let me just see. Nora, please.
I'd like to nominate Councillor Cheryl Green.
And do I have a seconder for that, please?
I'll second that.
Oh, thank you, Dee. Thank you, Jane. And I'll take silence as an all in favour again. Congratulations, Cheryl. You've been elected as Chair of Scrutiny 2. And then
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Oh.
Just saying thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, it's okay. And Subject Overview Scrutiny Committee 3, please. Yes, please, Jane.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Can I nominate Councillor John Paul Blundell?
You can, and do I have a second? Oh, there we
Second.
are, Tom Gifford. There we are, that's already been seconded by Tom Gifford, so thank you very much. And all in favour, silence is acceptance. There we are, congratulations, JP. You are the new Chair of Scrutiny 3.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and thank you, Council.
Okay, so then we move on to item number 16, which is again a report of the Monitoring Officer representation on outside bodies and other committees. So over to you, Kelly.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. As you stated, the purpose of this report is to seek Council's approval for the appointment of members to the South Wales Police and Crime Panel, the Cardiff Capital Region City Deal Joint Scrutiny Committee and the South East Wales Strategic Planning Group as set out in Appendix 1. It is proposed that any members are appointed for a term of 1 year, except where earlier revocation of the appointment is appropriate. And it is also proposed that appointments are made on the basis of a member's role within the authority, and the appointment will be attached to the role and not to the individual. I therefore take you to the recommendations at 9 to receive nominations and appoint the requisite number of members to the bodies as shown in Appendix 1. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so which one are we going to take first? So to receive nominations and appoint the requisite numbers on Appendix 1. Let's go to there. So the first one is the Cardiff Capital Region City Deal Joint Scrutiny Committee meeting. So let me just go back to Skype. So Jane first then, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Can I nominate John Paul Blundell, please?
Thank you. And do I have a seconder for that, please?
Second.
Thank you, Gary. And Councillor Tom Gifford, please.
Councillor Matthew Voicey, please.
And a seconder for that, please?
Second.
Thank you, Lynn. Thank you. So we will go to the vote again, so through the roll call. If that's okay, Kelly?
Yeah. Okay, so if we start with Councillor Alex Williams.
Councillor John Paul Blundell.
Councillor Hussain. Councillor Hussain. Okay, I'll come back to Councillor Hussain.
Thanks, Kelly.
Councillor Amanda Williams.
Councillor Voisey.
Councillor Bacella.
Councillor Voisey.
Councillor Brian Jones.
Councillor Voicey.
Councillor Sedgbeer.
Councillor John Paul Blundell.
Councillor Webster.
Councillor Voisey.
Councillor Charles Smith.
Councillor Blundell, please.
Councillor Green.
Councillor Voisey.
Councillor David Lewis.
John Paul.
Councillor White, David White.
Councillor Blundell.
Councillor Patel.
Councillor Blundell, please.
Councillor Venables.
Abstain.
Councillor Howells.
Councillor Blundell.
Councillor Gary Thomas.
John Paul.
Councillor David.
Councillor John Paul Blundell, please.
Councillor Howell Williams.
Councillor Blundell.
Councillor Radcliffe.
Councillor Voisey.
Councillor Gerbie.
Councillor John Paul Blundell.
Councillor Janice Lewis.
Councillor John Paul, please.
Councillor Tilsley.
I think we'll come back to that one, Kelly.
Councillor McCarthy.
Councillor Blundell.
Councillor Spanswick.
Councillor Blundell.
Councillor Blundell.
Councillor John Paul Blundell.
Councillor Williams.
Councillor John Paul Blundell.
Councillor Rowlands.
Matthew Voisey, please.
Councillor Edwards.
Abstain.
Councillor Watts.
John Paul Blundell.
Councillor Walters.
Matthew Voisey, please.
Councillor James.
Matthew Voisey, please.
Councillor Jones. Martin.
Councillor John Blundell, please.
Councillor Voisey.
Councillor Voisey.
Councillor Mike Clark.
Councillor Voisey.
Councillor Kuhn.
Councillor Blundell, please.
Councillor Burnett.
Councillor John Paul Blundell, please.
Councillor Nora Clark.
Councillor Voisey, please.
Councillor Pam Davis.
Councillor John Paul Blundell, thank you.
Councillor Paul Davis.
Councillor Blundell, please.
Councillor Phil White.
Councillor Blundell, please.
Councillor Collins.
Councillor John Paul Blundell, please.
Councillor Granville.
Councillor Blundell, please.
Councillor Young.
Councillor John Paul Blundell, please.
Councillor Shaw.
Councillor John Paul Blundell, please.
Councillor Penhale Thomas.
Abstain.
Councillor Sturman.
Councillor Voisey, please.
Councillor Vidal.
Councillor Voisey.
Councillor Aspey.
Abstain, please.
Councillor Dendy.
Councillor Voisey, please.
Councillor Stephen Smith.
Councillor John Paul Blundell, please.
Councillor Baldwin.
Councillor Blundell.
Councillor Thomas has left. Councillor Tom Beadle.
Abstain.
Councillor Gifford.
Matthew Voisey, please.
And if we can go to Andrew to contact Councillor Tilsley.
Hello, Councillor Tilsley, it's Andrew Rees calling. We're now seeking nominations to the to represent the council on the Cardiff Capital Region City Overview and Scrutiny Committee. The nominations are Councillor Blundell and Councillor John Paul Blundell and Councillor Matthew Voisey.
John Blundell.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Tilsley. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll just add those up.
Thank you, Kelly. Thank you, Andrew.
Sorry, if I can just go back to Councillor Hussain.
Oh, yes, of course. Sorry. Councillor Hussain, are you there now?
Mr. Mayor, Councillor Hussain has actually dropped off the call.
He has, as he's no longer there. Now, I don't know whether that's is no longer right. Okay, so Tom, do you want to contact? He may have had. Do you know if he was planning on dropping out, or Andrew could be phoning him?
So, but could Andrew ring him in the same way he's done for?
Yes, certainly.
Yes,
if
of course.
Bear with me while I find his number. Hello, Councillor Hussain. It's Andrew Rees from Democratic Services.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. I'm trying to get it online again.
Okay.
I'm not able to.
Right. Okay. We'll endeavour to connect you again. In the meantime, we're seeking your vote for the positions on the Cardiff Capital Region City Deal Joint Overview and Scrutiny Committee. The nominations are Councillor John Paul Blundell and Councillor Voisey.
Councillor Voisey, please.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Hussain. In the meantime, now we'll endeavour to get you back connected to the meeting. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Andrew. I think that was quite clear. We heard that. So if Kelly and you could just calculate the outcome of that.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm back.
Oh, welcome back, Altaf. Just in time for the result, I think.
Okay, so we've got John Paul Blundell with 30, Matthew Voisey with 17 and 5 abstained.
Okay, thank you, Kelly. That's conclusive, so congratulations, John Paul, and you are the chair of the Cardiff Capital Region City Deal. Okay, we now move on to nominations for vice chair of the City Deal, please. Jane, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Can I nominate Councillor Alex Williams, please?
Okay, thank you. Do I have a seconder for that?
I'll second that, Chair.
Second.
Thank you. Any other nominations, please? Okay, I'm not getting any other nominations, so all in favour? I'll take silence as a as an agreement. Thank you. Congratulations, Alex. You are the Vice Chair of the City Deal Committee. So the next one then is South Wales Police and Crime Panel, one member comprising a majority party. So sorry, it's beeping, but I'm flipping between two reports, so I have to move back to it. Sorry, I've just been pointed out that it's a deputy member, not a vice chair. Thank you for correcting me on that, JP. Okay, so the police one then, please.
I have asked to speak, Mr. Mayor.
Sorry, go ahead then, Jane.
Thank you. Can I nominate Councillor Richard Young, considering it comes significantly under his portfolio?
Thank you. And the seconder of that?
I'll second that, Chair.
Thank you. And do I have any other nominations, or are we all happy to accept that? Not getting anything, so congratulations, Richard Young. And the last one then is the South East Wales Strategic Planning Group, and that's one member, and it's the proposed representation is the chairperson of Development Control Committee. So we have, as we've already decided on that, do we need to seek a nomination, Kelly, or is it just the fact that we accept the chairperson going forward on that?
Just accept the chairperson.
Right, okay, so Councillor Gary Thomas, then you're back on the regional group as well.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, so we get into the fun bits now, everybody. Agenda item number 17, and that is to invest the Mayor of Bridgend County Borough Council for 2020-21. And Council has approved the nomination of Councillor Kenneth Watts as Mayor of Bridgend County Borough Council for the year 2021. And I now invite Councillor Watts to formally accept the office of Mayor. And of course, normally these chains would be handed over and you would be signing the book at some point, Ken, but I think you're getting the chains off Roger tomorrow. So Ken, over to you to verbally accept the office of Mayor, please.
Yes, I thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. I'll say exactly what I've been told to say here, and that is I, Kenneth Watts, do swear that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II. I'm going to be speaking under item 19, so I should say a little more then. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, and congratulations again. And you, like I said, you'll have the chains all cleaned up and delivered tomorrow. So item number 18 then is to invest the Mayor's Consort. Councillor Julia Williams has been named as the Mayor's Consort for the year 2021, and I now invite Councillor Julia Williams to formally accept the position of Consort.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yes, I formally accept the position. I'm very honoured. Thank you very much.
Okay, and you don't need to say anything other than what you've said, so congratulations, Julia. We now move on to item number 19. Sorry. Okay. Sorry, I'm trying to keep up with the chat as well as read through the script. Agenda item number 19 then is to receive announcements from the newly elected Mayor, please.
Yes, can you hear me, Mr. Mayor?
We can, yes.
Yep, good. Okay, Mr. Mayor, councillors, and I know there's still some guests, and I think my family has logged in virtually. So I just wish to say that naturally I'm very proud and honoured to have been elected to the office of the Mayor for the County Borough of Bridgend. Something I never truly expected to happen. And to expand on how much this means to me and its unexpected reality, I need to provide some background as to how I, an Englishman, has come to this. I first came to South Wales in 1964 as an 18-year-old courting a young Welsh girl from the Garrow Valley, who was later to become my wife. At that time, the coal tips were still very evident and the Dead River ran black. My future mother-in-law, although not a councillor, was very vocal on the issue of cleaning up the mess left by the coal industry in which her husband, my future father-in-law, had worked all his life. Coming from England, both the situation and the devastation wreaked by the industry made a lasting impression on me. But of even greater impact over the years since then has been the subsequent clean-up carried out by the then Ogger Borough Council and now by the Bridgend County Borough Council. To me, this is even more impressive considering the point from which the recovery of the Garrow Valley had to start. If someone had said to me then, back in the 60s, I would become the mayor of Bridgend County, then Ogor, I would have thought them delusional, as would my in-laws. I didn't have a political bone in my body back then. Sadly, none of those I have mentioned are here to see this day, other than, I'm pleased to say, my children and grandchildren. But having subsequently moved to South Wales in 1976, I was later to become involved in local matters in Porthcawl. And having seen what could be done in the Garrow Valley, then why not elsewhere? And well, here I am today. As we know, things are at last beginning to move in Porthcawl. My year in office, in fact, which will only be one of 8 months, will be shorter than normal and clearly required to be conducted in a totally different way to that previously experienced by my predecessors. Given the circumstances of which we're all only too well aware, I shall endeavour to fulfil and promote the role and office of Mayor to the best of my ability by supporting community events wherever and whenever possible, whilst at all times keeping in mind the need for us all to stay safe during this dreadful pandemic. With regard to the pandemic, I believe it incumbent upon us all to set an example to our constituents, not only by abiding by the rules and following advice, but more importantly, as the leader earlier said, by working together to provide the many services this authority is bound to do. It is going to be vital we do so to protect the residents of the county, probably for many months to come. We are all well aware of the forthcoming Senedd elections next May, and I sincerely hope we can leave any political differences to be aired at the right time and the right place during this difficult period, but still provide robust challenge and scrutiny where necessary. It is also a very difficult time for charities, especially in the raising of funds, and this will be challenging to say the least. So I ask all members to consider making a donation to my chosen charities, which are Parkinson's UK and Epilepsy Society, via the Mayor's Just Giving account, previously referred to by the outgoing Mayor. I know you're asked this each year, but this year I believe it even more important for donations to be made, as they will no doubt form the greater part of any funds raised. Lastly, I wish to say well done to the outgoing Mayor, Councillor Stuart Baldwin. It's been a unique and difficult time for local authorities everywhere, and you have carried the mantle of Mayor with pride and passion throughout this last 17 months. So many congratulations on a successful period in office, which has made you the longest serving Mayor of BCBC, as previously acknowledged. It's been a privilege to have been your deputy and to have worked with both yourself and your consort, Councillor Nicole Burnett, who I congratulate on her appointment to Cabinet. And lastly, don't give me too hard a time from the backbenches, Stuart. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Ken, and congratulations to you and Julia once again. Okay, we move on to agenda item number 20, and that's to invest the Deputy Mayor of Bridgend County Borough Council for 2021. Council has approved the nomination of Councillor Spanswick as Deputy Mayor of Bridgend County Borough Council for the year 2021. I now invite Councillor Spanswick to formally accept the office of Deputy Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and I'm pleased and honoured to accept the position of Deputy Mayor for Bridgend County Borough Council for the year 2020-21. Many thank you.
Congratulations, Councillor Spanswick. I wish you well in your term. Nobody knows how it's going to go and how many meetings you'll get to chair. It changes all the time, but congratulations. And then agenda item number 21, to invest the Deputy Mayor's Consort, and Susan Spanswick has been named as the Mayor's Consort for, or the Deputy Mayor's Consort for the year 2021. I would like to congratulate Susan and wish you all the best for their year.
Thank you. She's joining me on screen as well.
Oh, congratulations, Sue.
All right, thank you.
Thank you all.
You're welcome. Okay, so are those just congratulations? Yes, they're just congratulations that are coming through. Okay, there are no other items on the agenda. So I therefore wish you all the best. Thank you for the time, my time as Mayor, and I'll close the meeting at 5:26. Thank you very much.
Well done.